Hi everyone, this is Hardee and my husband Steve, your
Hi, guys.
favorite Star Trek podcasters.
Yep, we're back. We're ready to talk about episode 2 of the original series, Charlie X.
And how are you doing tonight, Steve?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. And also, this could be viewed as a Thanksgiving episode because they do talk about a turkey and Thanksgiving back on planet Earth, even though the USS Enterprise has bumped into the space vessel Antares, and they meet up with the crew who hand off a 17-year-old boy who has been stranded on a deserted planet for the last 14 years of his life. They pretty much say, here you go, and then leave.
Yeah, and the whole handoff is awkward, and we're meant to see that it's awkward, but not really know why. So I think they achieved that well. And there's a couple of good face close-ups, like is popular in film and television of the era. I'm not sure what to make of those modernly, right? When it's a zoom in on the face, and okay, that's the face. His eyes, he's meant to be doing something with his eyes. It's an interesting choice. I'm not sure if it conveys meaning to me, really.
They have a lot of close-ups, I've noticed, in these episodes. And in particular, Charlie's eyes are pretty wide all the time. And I guess if he's in character and we're meeting him for the very first time and he doesn't know the social norms of human interaction, he probably would be mesmerized by what he's seeing, especially when he's never seen a person of the opposite sex before. So he bumps into Yeoman Rand,
yes,
a very beautiful lady, and he says to the captain, "Is that a girl?" And Captain Kirk affirms that yes,
that is a girl,
and he's quite amused by the man's stunned expression, or the young man's stunned expression. What do you think of that?
I don't know. Like I kind of share in Captain Kirk's awkwardness, right? Captain Kirk does not want to be a family man, and he immediately sees that Charlie has a lot of learning to do on how to behave in social environment. I mean, it's kind of impressive that he's got any level of manners at all, having lived alone on this planet. And this is the segue into really the theme of the episode is, what are gender roles in the Star Trek universe and the 1960s US. And what we can see is that Captain Kirk has a certain understanding of how to behave and what everybody's roles are, and he really doesn't have any language to talk about it. So, Charlie does some things that make Janice upset. So he observes two male crew members. One, they're joshing around, and one smacks the other on the butt, like, haha, gotcha, or like, how about that? And he does that to Yeoman Rand, and she's like, whoa, you can't do that. And she says, talk to Captain Kirk, and Captain Kirk says, well, you just can't do that. Like, you might be able to do that to a male buddy, but you can't do that to a woman. Just don't do that. And he really doesn't have he's at a loss for words.
Actually, his quote is, there are a million things in the universe you can have, and a million things you can't have. It's no fun facing that, but that's the way things are.
Yeah, that's a little later. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's when Charlie's like, I want Yeoman Rand, and I can have anything I want. Should we talk about the powers?
So I have to say that the pacing and of these shows and these episodes are a little strange. There's a lot of quiet going on, and there's moodiness, and then there's just a lot of stares, and I mean, we're made to feel very uncomfortable.
The whole thing is uncomfortable
because Charlie stares a lot, and he doesn't have a lot of like smiles, and he's not very happy. He's just very intense and intent in his stares. And in particular with the yeoman, he doesn't have words, or he doesn't have the ability to express or communicate his feelings, but and he's only 17 years old, and so he engenders a lot of sympathy from Captain Kirk. But why does Captain Kirk really feel sorry for him? I I don't understand why. He's given so much leniency. He hits Captain, not Captain, Janice Rand, yeoman's butt. I mean, that's so not acceptable in this day and age, even if you are 17 years old.
And I think that's explained, though, right? Like, at first it's giving him leeway, like, oh, he just doesn't know how to be, and then it becomes, actually, Charlie's very dangerous, and we can't push him.
Well, when we find out that he's dangerous is a different time. I mean, it's a slow build up. We suspect that not all is normal with Charlie right away because of all these like long pauses, close-ups, intense stares. It can only mean one thing, which is that, of course, he has superpowers and telepathy, and he can move things and make people disappear, especially when he gets angry, because you don't want to make him angry, right? We have a martial arts scene where Captain Kirk is, trying to teach him some moves, and then one of the other people there starts laughing at him, and he makes that
guy disappear.
And when Spock was playing chess with him, and Spock won, he melted the chessboard pieces. So he was, I guess they were trying to show parallels between him and a child who gets very temperamental when things don't go his way. Did you find this situation relatable?
I mean, I think they were tapping into the rage that a person can feel when, especially when you're younger and you haven't, sort of acclimated to accepting a loss, good sportsmanship. That's like a lesson that we impart towards older children, not to throw a tantrum. And he hadn't had that, and so he threw his tantrums, and he had this dangerous power when he did throw his tantrums. So I found it pretty, comprehensible. Like it's a sci-fi exploration of what if you give a tantrum thrower very great powers.
Right. Charlie X was originally named If Charlie Was God for one day, or I think another one was. Anyway, it really kind of says that he would be the all-powerful person, someone who, someone as young as he was, and then now it's complicated by his romantic feelings he's never had for any person before, and Yeoman Rand is, it doesn't look that much older, but in the story she's significantly older than him, and she tries to find someone his age for him to meet, and he shows a lack of decorum by insulting this younger person, this person he's more actually he's closer in age to, and he
the dynamic in that scene is really funny to me. Like, we know what Yeoman Rand is doing that would work in a lot of situations. Like, here's this younger girl. She's also very pretty. She's more appropriate for you. You might like to hang out, thinking, this will resolve my Charlie problem. And if he were a normal boy, it might well have worked.
No, I don't.
But it also was unlikely to work because Charlie is smitten with her specifically.
Well, I don't know, but if you try and tell anyone, I mean, I've tried to set up friends before and like, oh, you two have this in common, you'll be great for each other, and or in my mind they'll work out, but that doesn't happen. I mean, if there's chemistry, there's chemistry. If there's no chemistry, there's no chemistry. And in this case, though, I think there was chemistry. I think that she didn't want to admit that there was chemistry because he's a child. But what's revealing is that the aliens come back, the Thasians, because what happens is that Charlie takes over the whole ship. Now, if this was the first episode, and we see Captain Kirk in this position where anybody can just take over the ship, we might not admire him as much as we do, and because it was so early on in the season. If it was the first episode, I think it would be hard to build that up again. But since it was the second, and we've seen him already in a similar situation, and how he overcame that, we were just kind of waiting to see when that moment would happen, when he could retake the helm. But honestly, his plan of, I think maybe he's getting tired, let's turn on all the ship's powers to drain him. It did not really work.
It didn't work, right? So we see he has a brilliant plan. He starts executing it. It looks like it's going to work, and then actually, Charlie's perfectly able to disable Captain Kirk, and Deus Ex Machina, the aliens who gave him the power, came back to collect him. Yeah,
the Thasians, the race that gave Charlie his powers, they said that the reason why we gave him that power was he wasn't going to survive if we didn't. So that's why. And we thought that he could go back to Earth if he could control the power. And also he had a relative on the planet Alpha V.
Earth Colony 5.
Yeah, Alpha V. Okay. So he had a relation there that they were going to basically send him to, but because he had made all these people disappear, he even made Yeoman Rand disappear. He wasn't someone they could trust.
And the Thasians made the point. They said either you would have destroyed him to save yourselves, or he would have, destroyed you in his anger. So he has to live by himself. He's too dangerous.
Okay, so when I first saw it, I thought this episode was pretty good. But then now as I'm like recounting it, it's been a couple of days. It's kind of like,
what's the point of that?
Now I'm kind of feeling a little bit like, well, I okay. So even after he got rid of Yeoman Rand and she disappeared and she went somewhere that, she doesn't know where, she was the one who cried when the Thasians took him away, because he was saying, please don't let me go back there. They don't know how to love. They don't know how to express themselves. They don't know how to show emotion. Please let me stay, please. And, reading Captain Kirk's face, you could tell this was not going to happen.
Captain Kirk was almost dumbfounded, like, I want to, let him be with humans, but I just can't, so I'll stay silent. And, and Yeoman Rand, right, is, he was extremely dangerous to her. He disappeared her. He, but he also made her feel special.
There was a moment where he said, when I look at you, I feel hungry.
Yeah.
And she didn't know what to say, and she didn't want to hurt his feelings, so she reported the conversation to the captain to hopefully have him take care of this. It didn't work. But I think in that moment, oh, that's it. He said, I don't want anybody else but you, and you make me feel hungry, and the person that you tried to foist upon me is not you. And just by virtue of him saying that, you get the sense that that's how people want to feel, that we're not replaceable, that we're unique, and someone will love us just as we are. And I noticed that the story, though, was by Roddenberry. The teleplay was written by Dorothy C. Fontana. And maybe she wrote from, her point of view a little bit.
Maybe. So that's the story pretty much. And I want to talk about the effects, or rather the lack of effects. And I thought this was kind of neat that all of Charlie's messing with reality is pretty much taken through cuts. Like maybe there's a sound effect in Bing, people disappear, or Bing, the cards are different, or the chess pieces are melted. And we hear from off stage Gene Roddenberry's own voice saying, "The meatloaf has become real turkey."
He makes a audio cameo, is what they said.
And that's early on. That's the other point about when it comes to Charlie and the male cast members, he wants them to like him at first. So he's like, if I just do things that they want, then they'll like me. And we explore that super simplistic worldview. Like, Captain Kirk wants turkey. I'll give him turkey. I'll give him unexplainable turkey that will unsettle him. Charlie's not really thinking on that level. He's not thinking a step ahead. He's just like, you want turkey? I got turkey.
But then that brought to my mind the fact that they don't have replicators yet.
That's right.
And
that's a TNG innovation.
They actually had a cook on board the ship making them meatloaf that was supposed to taste like turkey. And now they didn't have to do that. They had real turkey. Yeah. Thanks to Charlie.
But so the interesting thing I thought was all of those reality changes don't really have a visual effect. It's just a cut or it's a statement. And then we do get an effect. The whole episode is on the Enterprise. There's no scenes on a planet. There's no scenes on another ship. But then at the end, we get the Talesians. And they're a ghostly pair of faces that appear in the bridge.
And speak like this.
And it's kind of cheesy, but it's also like, okay, maybe that's what ghostly aliens look like. I thought it was a judicious use of effects. So I think that's actually the best thing about the episode is the visual effect choices, given the limitations.
Yeah. I don't know if that's my favorite part, but I thought it was interesting. I thought the actor had a very nice voice and seemed really serious and somber and sad at the same time. Like, this is my duty, this is my job. Kind of almost like, the Ghost of Christmas Present or something from Scrooge, where he has to come back and say, well, you didn't do what you were supposed to, so, this is the fate that you're going to receive. And unlike Scrooge, Charlie does not get a second chance. He doesn't wake up and it's a bad dream. He made his decision, and the crew were not going to save him from himself. So he gets taken back with the Bayesians.
Yep. So was this a good episode?
Well, now that we talked it through, I'm back to liking it more. So I think that my first initial review was 4 stars, or 4 Spocks, and as we talk through it, I'm back to liking it more. So
okay,
yeah.
Well, 4. I'm going to give it 3.
Oh.
So I think that it's better than the flaws we saw last episode in the Man Trap, but it's a little bit. It relies too much on the cringe for tension, and it kind of worked on me, but kind of didn't. So yeah, 3.